The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf.
When doing the infill drilling in the North Zone, we've realized that certain parts of the North Zone are just as highly mineralized as the Mountain Zone, and in the Southern Zone, it starts to taper off a little bit, the mineralization, but we've also found some new very strong zones in there.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is John Passalacqua. He is the CEO of First Phosphate. And John, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me, Steve.
Yeah, so exciting news out from the company that you put out some, I guess you're calling it analytical results from your infill drilling you do at your Bégin-Lamarche project. So maybe explain to everyone what this is.
Yeah, so if, as you remember, we recently finished our drill campaign last month. It was supposed to be a 30,000 meter drill program. We went to about 40,000 meters. So after we finish that program, we gather up all the core and we go out for assays. So these are the results of the assaying that came back from the laboratory. So as you can see, we had some very, very strong veins that were intersected, some new veins as well in the mountain, the north and the south zone. And so all of this now gives us all the information that we need to then move to, updating the mineral resource estimate and updating our 3D geological model, and then determining what are the next steps of the property.
I know that you've got a lot of areas on that particular property, and you've broken it up in a way that makes it easily for people to understand. Talk to us about the size and scale of what you're seeing with all these zones that you have.
Yeah, so basically there's three zones, right? The mountain, the north, and the south. So the mountain zone is definitely, the highest mineralization. Now, when doing the infill drilling in the north zone, we've realized that, certain parts of the north zone are just as highly mineralized as the mountain zone. And in the southern zone, it starts to taper off a little bit, the mineralization, but we've also found some new very strong zones in there and been able to better define what's there. So all of this just gives us, a lot more strength and credibility in the resource, and allows us in the update of the mineral resource estimate to come out in here in a few weeks to update from inferred and indicated up to indicated and measured, which are the basis of what is needed for the next steps of mining, which is obviously a feasibility study.
Yeah. Talk to me, John, a bit about that mineral resource estimate and the 3D modeling that will go with it. That's obviously two key parts of this.
Yeah, so when we did our PEA about a year and a half ago, we had a model that came out, a 3D model, and we had also a mineral resource estimate. So all we're going to be doing is really updating that, right? So we'll probably see a jump from inferred and indicated to indicated and measured, and we'll just see, we'll get a better glimpse into the resource. Whereas under the PEA it's a little bit fuzzy. Maybe now with the infill drilling, we're going to get a lot more definition as to the veins, the concentrations, the mineralizations, and the reserve statuses.
And lastly, John, I know that your treasury is good, so you've got lots of runway for work all this year and into next year. Tell me a bit about the rest of this year. There sounds like there's going to be a lot of work still ahead.
Yeah, so this year is really, right now, the next month is getting to this mineral resource estimate and 3D geological model. We'll put that before our board to be able to move into a feasibility study. And if we decide to move into the feasibility study, we should be completed that by the end of this year, 2026. So, very important next steps here, right, is finalizing this geological model and moving into that feasibility study at very, very accelerated pace to be able to then move into permitting in 2027. And, we have a very aggressive sort of timeline here for the mine, which would be, an open pit mine by 2029, sometime in mid 2029.
All right, John, we'll leave it there. Lots of work still to come, lots of talk as well. Thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Steve. Always great to be here.
All right, John Passalacqua, the CEO of First Phosphate.
The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf. It is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, an offer, or a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Viewers should conduct their own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Proactive Group Holdings, trading as Proactive Investors, or its affiliates. No responsibility is accepted for any loss arising from reliance on the information presented.